cricket. So 2003 you came on
Yes.
the World Cup, 2003. And I obviously never made jokes because...
Of course you did. I'm sure you
no,
did.
No, I'm a very
As
nice
did everybody.
cultured
It's all right.
fellow.
It's okay.
But you handled it well. You handled all of it well. And so how
You
did...
know, back in the day, in 2003 is also back in the day because it was not the time of social media the way it is right now.
Yeah.
You know, stuff was not in your face. There was the internet, but there was, I think, was there Facebook? I'm not sure. I don't know. But, you know, I had a tough start and I had a lot of people saying a lot of horrible things about me. And I say hats off to Sony for, you know, they just wanted to keep me there and keep me going. And they just kept me away from this. You are not allowed to get onto the internet. And they kept me away from stuff until I found my feet. And when I did, and I saw the stuff that was being written about me, like, what is going on, man? But by that time, I decided, you see, heaven and hell is in your head.
Right.
The first 1 week, I had so much baggage with me that, oh my God, this is cricket. People are so possessive about cricket. There's never been a woman before. I just need to blend in. I just need to I just need to be accepted. And I had so much going on in my head that I made a holy mess of every show that I did. Wraparound programming, right? Pre, mid and post. And at the end of every show, I'd have stuttered and stumbled and made so many, mistakes that at the end of every show I'd put my head down like this and I would cry.
Oh, shit.
And all the other cricketers and commentators and experts were just like, okay, I'm just going to go and get a cup of coffee. And they'd all leave and I'd be alone in the studio saying, what am I doing here? And the people from Sony said to me that, you're here to stay.
Right.
Whatever insecurity you have, just you just got to, get rid of it because we're not letting you go anywhere. We've auditioned, 200, 300 women and we chose you for a reason. We know you have that spark in you. And honestly, it was hell in my head and from hell to heaven. I decided I'm not an expert. I'm not a commentator. I'm not an analyst. I'm there to ask the layman's question, layperson's question. And that's it. Just enjoy yourself. And honestly, it was like a switch. From my lunchtime show being really, really, really bad to the evening show after being tear-stained and after having a session with them and them sitting me down and saying, listen, just start enjoying yourself. It's like a switch. Just enjoy yourself.
Right.
Don't put pressure on yourself.
Right.
And I really, once the pressure came off, that evening show went so well. And I said, you know what? I'm going to have fun.
Yeah.
And from that point onwards, it was fun. I really enjoyed myself and I learned on the job and people started becoming nicer to me and people accepted me and I had a long enough tournament and a long enough run with cricket to change a few people's minds.
So I'm just going to give context because I think a lot of people, this is 16 years back. So specifically, I think a lot of people who listening to watching whatever.
Who weren't born here?
They weren't generally. A dude, my subscribers, it starts from 13. Okay. Right. So, the context was that in 2003 in the World Cup, Sony had got the rights and they decided to get a lady. Oh no.
Yes.
Ladies cricket, how possible?
Yes.
And you were the first one there and you got very famous for the noodle straps or was
I
spaghetti
don't know why
strap?
they call it noodle strap.
What is it actually called?
It's not called spaghetti strap.
It's a spaghetti strap, right?
I just happened to tell a journalist that I was wearing a noodle strap instead of a spaghetti strap, and the
so
noodle
you
got
caused it.
Yeah.
But so you had a tough time, and I remember there was a lot of trolling, including from people like me.
Yes, okay.
We all did it. We were just I was 22 actually. No, I don't think I was trolling that time. I was too young.
Okay.
I was too young to be.
Yeah, I used to come back from school and watch it, right?
No, but you know what was interesting was that
like those men who used to come back from school and watch Shanti.
There you go.
There you
See,
go.
I used to watch Shanti, and then I grew up to watch you in World Cup. But I did notice that a lot more women were discussing cricket than
the whole idea was to get somebody who's a familiar face on television to come and sit on that panel, so it just doesn't become a very, very purist discussion.
Yeah.
To get the lay person in who's not really invested in a very, very sort of crickety discussion. Here's somebody who's asking genuinely, nobody gave me a script.
Yeah.
As was very clear. Nobody gave me a script. So I just asked whatever was on my mind. And
Right.
the questions got a little better as the tournament progressed. But that's what the initial reason to get
Right.
me on board was.
Okay, so and I mean,
To get some more women to watch the wraparound program.
which worked.
It got a lot more men also to watch.
So people watching, but effectively that's all.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's all about the
Yeah,
trips.
yeah.
The TRPs. I mean, sorry.
I got that.
You know, it's the industry lingo that I use very regularly.
Blurry.
Yeah. Mandira Bedi. But I mean,
all vowels have to go.
yeah.
Okay.
That's basically what it is. Numerology is just like remove vowels. Yeah, that's.
That's you.
One guy said that, I won't get into that, I'll get into it later. Somebody said that my name, SORABH, if you rearrange the letters, it reads as a abuse in Hindi. You can leave it in the comments. Somebody, you know, when we release this on YouTube, eventually you'll understand what it was.
Okay.
I'm trying to be a clean comedian nowadays.
Okay.
I'm not. But
I'm over 12.
are you? Yes. Your Wikipedia does not say 72 anymore. But okay, so there's a couple of things that I'm trying to explore here, right? One is that I've interacted with cricketers on multiple bases, and some of them are very nice, but there's a lot of, like, these are testosterone, because sports people and generally fit people like yourself are, it's
I'm not full of testosterone.
whatever you're full of. What are women full of? Woof!
Just check that out, man.
Dude, I remember feeling this in the IPL. I don't know why is that. I remember feeling this in the IPL. That's a
You
weird
did.
thing to
I
say.
made you feel it.
When we went to the Hyderabad
Yes,
match,
yes,
which
yes.
is great. Okay, so yeah, there's two things I'm trying to get my head around. One is that a lot of these cricketers tend to be that, where it's like this competitive spirit doesn't allow them to be empathetic.
Yeah.
Right?
So a lot of people were mean to me, yes.
Yeah. But was there nobody who was like,
People were mean to Mandira.
hashtag mean to Mandira. That's the
New
next
one.
one. But there were no cricketers who stepped up. Like, I mean, I'm just trying to put myself in this position. If I saw anybody, irrespective of gender, crying in this thing, I would be like, hey, listen,
Stay away from. No, and very often while I was struggling,
Yeah.
I'd ask, I'm not going to name I'm not going to name names, it's not fair. One person is no more. Yeah.
now we
But
can-
I used to actually ask a question, and he used to just stare at me and then look away and talk about whatever he wanted to talk about.
Wow.
I got that so often.
Right.
And I was like, that is like mean. Why? Why? I mean, just answer my question and get on to whatever you want to answer. But people did that, and they were not accepting of me at all. I mean, if now there are women in cricket and there is a woman in cricket telecast everywhere, it's because I've done the hard yards, man. People have treated me badly, not accepted me, then there's been some sort of acceptance, and after that, there's been acceptance. A woman is accepted in cricket cricket telecast. But I'm telling you, it was really hard for me. It was that, I mean, that's what made that first week or first 10 days even harder, because nobody accepted me. I was like, what am I even doing here? How am I adding any value to this telecast?
But nobody from, like, I'm trying to understand from Sony's POV, where I'm assuming that they would have realized that there's going to be some pushback from viewers and people alike. So won't they, like, did they never tell you that, hey, just expect that something like this might happen?
No.
And did they not ever tell you that, hey, listen, the views are still up?
This has never
over?
happened before, right?
Right.
A woman on a cricket panel has never happened before. So they had no idea what to expect. They just thought that, I wanted to also just blend into the furniture and ask a question or two and just be like, not ruffle any feathers.
Yeah.
Nobody expected people to notice and start pointing fingers and say, what the hell is she doing here? She doesn't belong in cricket. You see, people who have not played cricket don't belong in cricket.
Right.
That's what the expectation of a panel is. Everyone has to be an ex-cricketer.
Yeah.
You see? So here, not even an ex-cricketer and a woman.
Yeah.
Like, what on earth is she doing here?
Right.
So they didn't expect anything like that. And post that, when people started accepting me, then they started talking about my clothes, and there was people were betting on my clothes.
Betting on your
Yes.
clothes? What are you serious?
Yes.
Like, so, like,
what is she going to wear tomorrow? Is it going to be a sari or is it going to be like an outfit?
I'm just imagining Dawood and Sharjah going like, ha.
कल साड़ी होगा, कल noodles स्टैप वाला साड़ी होगा.
And then they start fixing and all. Where you put a towel or you do a Sri-Sant with your dress. Like, wow. But I remember, I mean, this comes back to, there was a old talk with Harsha Bhogle where he said the arrogance of Indian cricket to not realize, Indian cricketers specifically, to not realize that it's just not about you having played the game is not your only qualification to be a presenter, worked in my benefit. Which I thought was like, I'm like it's such a Harsha Bhogle-esque slap, right? Where he does it so subtly, where he's like, thank you for. So do you feel that helped you in any way? That them being arrogant enough to assume that this is nobody else's domain.
Did it help me, meaning?
Like their attitude. Because here's the thing, it's almost an underdog story watching you.
Yes.
Right? Because,
yes.
and I'm like...
Maybe it helped me. I guess it helped me.
Because I remember what you just said about the question. Right? And again, as I just said, when anything starts and as an event which is massive, everybody makes fun of it, including me. So I'm not going to this thing from that. But I do remember...
I think people like to see the fact that from where I started to where it kind of... it ended, and people I'm telling you, I came back from that particular World Cup, 2003. It was one of my career's biggest turning points, because up until then I had only done fiction. I'd only acted. So I'd done DDLJ, I'd done Shanti, I'd done Kyunki Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahu Thi, and then this cricket came along, and somewhere along the way I was like just tired of doing that. Doing fiction was like a factory. It was like you go day in, day out, play the same character. I was looking for a break, and this happened, and suddenly people stopped knowing me as the characters I'd played, and people knew me as Mandira Bedi. I came back. I'll never forget that time in my life. I came back, and the 10 days after I returned, I was scheduling 4 interviews a day.
Oh, wow.
Morning, like before lunch 2, after lunch 2. Every news channel came. Every newspaper came. I was on the front page of the kind of newsprint that was dedicated to me during and post the World Cup was I have a file that thick.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I think people like to see the fact that firstly she struggled, and then she found her way, and then some people like me. I managed to change a few people's minds about having a woman on board. People accepted me, and they liked my presence over there. And then I did cricket. Right now, if I'm not doing cricket, it's because I choose not to.
Right.
Because even now, I get... You see, if I'm not doing it with my reading of all of this is that while I was doing it with a host broadcaster, it was great because people will watch the show. People will watch sport, and then they'll watch the wraparound programming connected, like on that channel itself. They're not going to go to a news channel and watch it.
Yeah.
And I've every single big tournament, I get offers from news channels.
Right.
And I'm like, who's going to watch it on the host broadcaster and then go to the go to the news channel, watch what I have to say or what any of the experts has to say. So I used to find that if I'm doing this, sure, it'll pay me a lot of money, but nobody's watching. What's the point of doing something that nobody's watching?
I don't know. That happens to my stand-up all the time. but I think it's actually an interesting story about. I mean, first of all, I mean, which you have, I think, which is to give credit to Sony for. I mean, it's so weird that this is 16 years back where we are like women cricket. Like it's still amazing to me. That's the thing. But it's also, I mean, do you think it helped? I mean, it obviously helped your career significantly.
So post that, I became a host.
Yeah.
Post that, I've been anchoring, and people forgot I was an actor. So after 2003 onwards, the only acting I was doing was this play, which I do, called Anything But Love. But I mean, from 2003 to literally when I did 24 season 1, I did no acting.
Oh, you just
I just hosted shows, Indian Idol and Jo Jeeta Wahi Superstar. I just hosted a lot of music reality shows, and the irony is I can't sing. I host a lot of dance shows and I can't dance.
Neither can most of the people. Sometimes I see some of the judges judging other people's musical talents and singing. I'm like, I've heard your songs. Like, it's like me judging.
I wasn't a judge. I was a host.
Oh, you were a host, yeah.
So post cricket, I became a host. People knew me as Mandira Bedi,
Right.
and people knew me as a host. And I started doing corporate shows, and so even when I was not doing anything on television, you know, corporate gigs are fantastic.
Yeah.
They pay really well, and so I've never stopped doing gigs since 2003.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a huge turning point in my life. And up until then, I'd done no hosting.
Yeah.
That was my first hosting job.
So they auditioned 200 people. They had 200 women.
Lots of women.
Was there anyone who you were like, hey, this person is now X? Were there any recognizable faces in that entire lineup where you're like, shit?
I didn't know anyone in the lineup.
Oh, wow.
But I know who it was between me and someone else.
Ooh, conspiracy. Who is it?
I can't tell you.
Okay, I'm going to spread
It's
a
not
rumor. It's, I'll tell you who it is.
Her initials were MB.
What? Oh my God, we got to figure this out. Who's?
I'm not going to tell you. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm gonna have to go back and figure out. Does anybody have any clues who MB could be? Wait, I'm just
I'm not
gonna.
going to say it. So I'm not gonna say
Mayanti
yes or-
Blanger.
No. Mayanti Blanger was not born then.
Marsha Bhogle. Oh wait, that actually works. Yeah.
Marsha Bogle? Maybe.
Harsha Bhogle seems like a good guy.
I like him. He's a very nice guy.
He seems like a guy who will also be like helpful. I remember doing one thing with him ages back where they made me play Vinod Kamli, and I don't think he remembers it, which is good.
No, he's very nice. I've done so many shows with him post, as in he does a corporate he does an event where he talks about sport and leadership.
Right.
And so I've done a lot of work with him after that.
So again, I'm still trying to figure out in the entire stint. Okay, you did 2003, you did 2007 as well, and you did the Champions Trophy.
2007, 2011. I did. It was in 2011 was when my son was born. I did it on Times Now.
Oh.
And 2000 and उसके बाद 15 आता है ना?
Huh. Here we are parents who's like, what is
1
plus
+ 2
4?
Yeah, so 2015 I did for a Hindi channel, news channel. So I've done World Cups I've done 2003, 7, 11 and 15. 11 with an English channel, 15 with a Hindi channel. So I've done cricket for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
Now I choose not to because I told you why.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me to be on something that nobody's watching.
But I'm still trying to get to this. I'm just still trying to understand. Okay, in that period, were there any cricketers or any people who were your fellow broadcasters who were supportive or at least helpful or?
Charu was very helpful. Charu was my
Sharma.
co-host.
Yeah.
He was very helpful.
He's the Fraser Crane of Baroda. He always reminds me of Fraser Crane. He like from Fraser the show. No? Okay.
Really?
I heard him speak recently like, hello, it's me,
like
it's Charu Sharma.
He's a wonderful person.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
He really is.
I just did an event with him. I didn't get paid, he got paid. Mandira Bedi is awesome. Please follow her on all the Instagram. If you want to get complexed about your fitness schedule, follow Mandira Bedi on Instagram and feel bad about yourself. She's awesome. And also check out my Audible Suno podcast for free called Comedian in Quarantine Telling Kahaniya. 21 free episodes. Go check it out now. Thanks a lot.